Right now, millions of people across the world wake up at 7 a.m., sit in traffic for hours and grind at their jobs until sunset. We are taught from childhood that if we just work hard and study hard, wealth will naturally follow. But look around. The people performing the most physically demanding jobs, construction workers, delivery riders, junior employees, are often the ones struggling the most. They are constantly stressed, underpaid, and drowning in debt. On the other side of the spectrum, look at tech founders, digital creators, and modern investors. Many are working flexibly from anywhere in the world, building systems that generate returns even while they sleep. If raw physical effort was a primary secret to getting rich, the hardest manual workers in society would be the wealthiest. Why is the middle class struggling while the ultra-rich continue to accumulate wealth? And most importantly, how do you escape this trap to build sustainable wealth? This framework is based on the famous ideas on wealth creation by entrepreneur and investor Naval Ravikant. To understand Naval's philosophy, you first have to unlearn a fundamental misconception society teaches: confusing wealth with money. Money is a tool for transferring value and purchasing power, a way to store and exchange economic output. When you trade hours for a paycheck, you are renting out your time. Wealth, on the other hand, consists of assets that earn for you continuously. A business that generates revenue around the clock is wealth. A software program running automated tasks is wealth. An online asset that attracts an audience while you sleep is wealth. If you only rent out your time, your earning potential is fundamentally capped, because the moment you stop working, the cash flow stops. Consider a highly paid surgeon. They might earn a substantial fee for performing a complex operation. But to earn that fee again, they must physically stand in the operating theater and perform another surgery. Their output is strictly tied to their personal input of hours. Compare that to an investor like Warren Buffett. He doesn't get paid by the hour, he makes capital allocation decisions. When he invests in efficient businesses, hundreds of thousands of employees operate those companies, generating value for shareholders regardless of where he is or what he is doing. The surgeon relies almost entirely on personal labor. The investor relies on a core principle of modern finance: leverage. In physics, leverage amplifies input force to produce a greater output. In business, leverage multiplies the effect of your effort and judgment. Historically, there were only two main types of leverage: labor and capital. Labor means having other people work with or for you. It is the oldest form of leverage, used to build ancient monuments and modern corporate enterprises alike. But managing human organizations requires constant coordination, compensation, management structures, and overhead. Capital, or money, became the dominant lever of the industrial age. With capital, you can build factories, acquire real estate, or invest in equity. But capital traditionally requires trust and permission. Someone has to grant you access or invest in your vision. For an average person starting out, acquiring large-scale labor or capital is difficult because both traditionally require permission and upfront trust. Over the past few decades, the expansion of the internet introduced two powerful new forms of lever: code and media. Unlike traditional labor and capital, code and media are largely permissionless. You do not need anyone's permission to build or publish them. If you write a software application, it costs virtually nothing to replicate and distribute it to millions of users. If you publish a podcast, a video, or an article, broadcasting it to a global audience carries almost zero incremental cost per view. You don't need a massive team or millions in funding to start distributing ideas globally. This is a defining shift of the 21st century. High-impact entrepreneurs can write software, design digital assets, or record media in a quiet room, using permissionless leverage to reach millions of people worldwide. Naval Ravikant's philosophy breaks this down into three essential principles. Lesson 1. Build specific knowledge. Society rewards you for providing things it wants, but does not yet know how to get at scale. To provide those things, you need specific knowledge. Specific knowledge is the domain that feels natural or like play to you, but looks like complex work to others. It isn't acquired purely through standard classroom instruction. If a skill can be easily taught in a generic curriculum, it can also be easily automated or outsourced. Specific knowledge develops from deep personal curiosity, unique experience, and continuous learning. When you build a career around your genuine strengths, you minimize direct competition because no one can replicate your exact synthesis of skills. Lesson 2. Take accountability under your own name. Many people prefer hiding inside large institutions to avoid public failure. But building significant long-term value requires taking personal accountability. When you take calculated risks under your own name, you face the downside when things go wrong. But you also capture the outsized upside, equity, and reputation when things succeed. Society rewards those who take genuine responsibility with greater trust, capital, and leverage over time. Lesson 3. Optimize for autonomy and freedom. The ultimate purpose of building wealth isn't display or luxury. It is autonomy. True wealth is the ability to control your own calendar and wake up in the morning with ownership over your time. Getting caught in status games leads to spending money simply to project an image, forcing you to remain on a treadmill to support an inflated lifestyle. Wealth creation is a positive-sum game where value is added to the economy. Status is a zero-sum game where one person's gain is another's loss. Focus on building real assets rather than chasing status signals. The modern economy offers unprecedented access to tools, information, and distribution. Today, leverage doesn't require legacy connections. It requires curiosity, focused effort, and the initiative to leverage technology.